Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph and today we are doing another Bibliophile Bites. I haven't done a Bibliophile Bites in months. So since I haven't done a Bibliophile Bites in forever, I'll just reintroduce you to the concept of it. Basically, I pick 3 books out of genres that I don't typically read and I read them and vlog it for you and let you know how I feel about that genre. I have done it so far for romance and I did one for thrillers. I have cat hair in my mouth, because those are 2 genres that I don't typically read or gravitate towards. In the romance one, I kind of learned that I'm not the biggest fan of romance. There are things out there that I enjoy, but I'm not like, now since doing that, I'm still not an avid romance reader. I'm sorry about it. And then reading thrillers, I started to kind of understand that I didn't know what the fuck a thriller was. And also that I like psychological thrillers more than probably anything else. Also, I really want a thriller that like does something with characters, you know, like most of them do not flesh out characters. So for this video, I'm doing middle grade. I have picked 3 middle grades that I'm very excited about. So the first book that I chose is Root Magic by Eden Royce, and this one was actually a recommendation from my friend Jess over at Said by Jess. I'm really excited about this one because she loved it. And it just seems like something I would really enjoy, especially if it were like pitched as a YA book. So why not make it middle grade? Then I'll be reading King and the Dragonflies by Case and Callender. I'm really excited about this because this is the same author that wrote Felix Ever After. And this is another instance where I've seen nothing but amazing reviews about it. And then the last book I'll be reading is Ikenga by Nnedi Okorafor. And this is solely because I love Nnedi Okorafor. I actually haven't heard that much about Ikenga. I saw it around when it was first coming out back in August, but I haven't seen anything since, so I'm excited to kind of go into this one without any idea about how I might like it. And I do think that the first book that I'm going to start with is Root Magic. Hi, so I have an exciting package and I'm about halfway through Root Magic, so I'll tell you about Root Magic and we'll open this package. Actually, I already opened it. I'll just show you what was inside of it. But Root Magic, I'm actually really loving this book a lot. It is in 1960. Hello? She's all... So Root Magic is in 1960 South Carolina. You're following twins Jezebel and Jay, and they have just discovered something called root magic, which is a magic that has been passed down through their family, and they're kind of coming to an age where they are expected to start learning it, especially because their grandmother has just passed away, and their grandmother was a really powerful root worker, so now they're expected to kind of take that place because their mother doesn't do root magic. So you're mainly following Jezebel's perspective in this story, and she's pretty powerful. She's coming into root magic pretty quickly and developing skills that like her uncle hasn't even seen before or isn't really capable of doing himself. And while they're learning this root magic, they're kind of learning about themselves and about Gullah people, who are their ancestors and who they are, and what root magic protects you from. Not only does it protect you from hates, but it also can protect you from people that wish to do harm upon you. And since this is in a 1960s backdrop in South Carolina, there is an aspect of racism, and there's a specific cop figure who keeps sort of terrorizing different families who use root work in the community. And even though I've never been to South Carolina, I feel like when I'm reading this book, I can vividly picture it and smell it and feel it, and it's like I'm there. Also, I just think root magic is so interesting, and I've been looking up more about Gola people and root magic. Hopefully I'll finish that tonight, and then I will update you on my final thoughts on it. But I got a package. I actually got 2 packages. So I've been getting a few books from thrift books, but I'm gonna do a book haul soon. So I mean, this will be in it, but it just came. So the book that I got from thrift books was They Called Me Number One. And this is Bev Seller's memoir of her experience in a residential school. And I think, yeah, and it also tells the story of different generations of women within her family. So I think it's her grandmother and her mother and then her. I think I said in my January or my February TBR that I've been really into memoirs lately. So on thrift books, I bought like a bunch of memoirs. And then my sweet friend Aaliyah sent me a box of stuff, and this made my whole day. So in the box, there are 2 bookmarks. One says, I'm trying to read, and the other says she believes she could, but she was really tired, so she didn't, which if that's not a mood that I'm constantly in. And then she put 2 books in here that I've been really wanting, and there's a note. So the first one is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany Jackson, and I read Grown and immediately wanted to read everything by Tiffany Jackson. So this one, this is the story of how my best friend disappeared, how nobody noticed she was gone except me, and how nobody cared until they found her 1 year later. I feel like this one's gonna fuck me up, probably more than Grown, but I definitely want to read this soon. And then this book actually just recently came out, and it's one of the good ones, and I've been hearing really good things about it. I actually wanted to read it for Blackathon, but it didn't fit any of the prompts, I don't think. And this one says, when teen social activist and history buff Kezzy Smith is killed under mysterious circumstances after attending a social justice rally, her devastated sister Happy and her family are left reeling in the aftermath. As Kezzy becomes another immortalized victim in the fight against police brutality, Happy begins to question the idealized way her sister is remembered, perfect, angelic. One of the good ones. Even as the phrase rings wrong in her mind, why are only certain people deemed worthy to be missed? Happy and her sister Jenny embark on a journey to honor Kezzy in their own way, using an heirloom copy of the Negro Motorist Green Book as their guide. And there's a twist to Kezzy's story that no one could have ever expected, one that will change everything all over again. I think this author wrote... How did I not realize this is 2 authors? So wait, Dear Haiti, Love, Elaine. That's written by 2 authors too? I think I always thought it was just one person. Well, still excited about it. But yeah, I'm gonna go like do laundry and shit. I don't know. booktuber is here. Olive. Olive, say hi. Olive? Olive? Hey. Thank you. Okay. Don't worry guys, Olive's here. She's down here. She read the book, she gave it a 5 out of 5. I read the book, Root Magic, finished it, gave it a 5 out of 5 too. We listened to it together. It was a really nice bonding time for us. But seriously, Root Magic was so good. I did give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and it's probably one of my favorite middle grades that I've read. I mean, I think Ghost Squad is definitely up there as well, but this one, I think it was just because of the sense of place and the fact that Jez and Jay's relationship, because they're twins, their sibling relationship felt really real. The fights they were having, the insecurities that they were having about their own relationship and growing apart and getting too old for each other, or one sibling outgrowing the other sibling too quickly, was so real, because I remember feeling that way about my brother, and my brother was 5 years older than me, so I really can't imagine what it would be like having a twin and having to deal with those feelings, but I definitely felt like I understood just from this book. I also read the author's note, and I looked up some Own Voices reviews that they really appreciated and valued the way that the author shed a positive light on Gullah people and root magic and made it really fun and accessible, and you were learning with Jez and Jay when they were going through their root magic practices. And I agree, because despite the fact that there is an undertone of it's the 1960s, there's racism, and part of them learning root magic is learning to protect themselves against racist people or people that want to do them harm, and you have these like tense moments with the police officers. It was really fun, and it was also just really positive in the familial bonds and the ways in which they had to approach learning root magic, which involved like being thankful to the earth and animals and giving thanks to everything in nature that helps provide. I really enjoyed that aspect. I really just love anything where there's a connection to the earth and a thankfulness to the earth and being mindful to the earth, especially because that's how I was raised. My grandmother was very much that kind of teacher, and so I really appreciated those aspects. I also just thought that Jez was a really great character because she was an outcast in what felt like her own family, but also in school, and she was kind of getting bullied, and the ways in which Jez kind of handles being an outcast and the feelings that she's going through was so relatable. And I also just liked the way that Jez was really accepting of other people because she felt like an outsider in so many different situations. She was more willing to be accepting and forgiving of other people's flaws. Anyways, I really loved this. I highly recommend it, and I will link down below some Own Voices reviews of it because I found those reviews to be really valuable. And I've actually started King and the Dragonflies, and whew, that one, I did not think it was going to be as emotional as it has been, and it is so emotional. It's not what I expected. I don't really know what I expected. I knew that in this book, the main character, King or Kingston, his brother passed away. I knew that that was a major theme in here. I'm probably halfway, and it's such a beautiful story. I feel like this is a book that if it goes in the direction that I think it's going, this could save lives, and it should be in the hands of many people. I just saw a hummingbird. One time a hummingbird almost took my life. It chased me and I almost slipped in snow and broke my whole head. So I'm probably gonna spend the rest of the day listening to that, and then I'll update you guys when I finish it. And then we only have one more book to go. I just finished King and the Dragonfly, and what the fuck? Why didn't anybody warn me? Was anybody gonna tell me? Anyone? I don't have any words for it. It's a 5 out of 5 stars. I think, like I said earlier, this is a book that like needs to be in the hand of so many, the hands. I don't know why I'm out of breath. This is a mess. I just think it needs to be in the hands of so many like middle grade readers, but just like everyone in general, because there's lots of lessons you can take from it as like a parent. When you face a situation such as this, especially if you have a history maybe in your family or just even in your own past where maybe you didn't agree or you were taught that being gay was wrong for whatever reason, like this is a really great book to discuss that. It also discusses intersectionality, like being Black and queer. What does that look like? What does that mean for you as an individual when you're marginalized in more than just one aspect of your life? I realize why I don't hold the camera because my arm already hurts because I'm a weak bitch, but all I'm saying is this was just, it was amazing. It was brilliant, stunning. I mean, it deals with grief and trauma really well, especially for a middle grade. I think it handled those situations much better than I've seen in many books. I have not lost a sibling, but I've lost other family members, and I liked that it was so upfront about what happens to people in the midst of grief and how grief begins to transform, where you get to a point where you kind of have to start living your life a little bit differently. And it's not that you're getting over something, it's that you're moving forward with that grief and like trying to move forward in life and like continue to live. Because I think, as anybody knows, if you've lost somebody, like sometimes time feels like it stops, and it feels weird that everybody around you seems to keep going, but you're stuck in place. And that was discussed and shown really well in this book, and just like the messiness of friendships and relationships in general, and how if you fight for them and you do the right thing in those relationships, regardless of if you're a flawed person and they're a flawed person, you can have really beautiful relationships and friendships. It's so hard to explain everything because I don't want to give a lot away. I think that this was a book that I'm glad I went into without knowing too much about it, because I got so much out of it. I'm like burning up right now. Beautiful book, 5 out of 5, highly recommend. Give this to everybody. I loved it. Good morning, friends. I just got ready for the day. We are going to be celebrating Valentine's Day early. So we're going to this like outdoor bookstore, but it's probably an hour away. I just need to change. Hello? Olive's hair. Both of us are a little bit nervous about how busy it's gonna be. So if we end up going, I'll take you with me. sorry I did not update you yesterday. I got some books as a Valentine's Day present, but I also bought myself some books because they were really cheap, and I've been looking to complete my Louise Erdrich, her Love Medicine series, and I'm so close. I'm so close. So basically I found 5 that are in the Love Medicine series. So this is the last book in the first part of the Love Medicine series, and then this is like, I think I only need 1 more book in the secondary series to complete it, because I also have the Roundhouse. And like, obviously the covers don't match, and that sucks, I guess. Like, I kind of like that they're all different, because this series has been published from like, I think the 80s until 2016 or something. These ones that are by Harper, I think they're all published by Harper, but these are like the newer covers. And then I also got Hunger by Roxane Gay. So since I've been into memoirs lately, I wanted to read her memoir, and I was kind of looking for Bad Feminist, but I didn't find that one there, but this one, I'm excited. So that was our little adventure. And I also finished Ikenga by Nnedi Okorafor, and I loved it. I really, really liked it. I will say, I didn't know what it was going to be going into it. It was one of the books that I like somehow didn't read the synopsis of it, and I didn't really know exactly what it was about. It was also interesting because I felt like all of the books that I've read for this video, I do feel like they touch on topics that you primarily see in like YA. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I was just surprised by it, and especially this one because there's like a superhero theme to it. So you have our main character Nnedi, and his father was murdered. He was the chief of police, and they think that he was murdered by this kind of crime boss person who has a gang of people who do different crime throughout the city. So Nnedi is holding a lot of anger, and he ends up getting visited by his dad, who gives him this ikenga, which is a magical figure that allows him to transform into this like really strong man, and he fights crime, basically. I had no idea that that's what this book was about. I really loved that aspect, but I will say it was pretty violent for what I expect of middle grade, but because I haven't read a lot of middle grade, I can't say that that's like uncommon. It makes a lot of sense though, because I do feel like superhero movies and crime fighting things involve a lot of violence in them. It sort of reminded me of like a Spider-Man type of thing, because Nnedi is also trying to like live his life as normal, and his mom sort of starts dating another guy, and so he's sort of hiding this part of himself. So it just for some reason reminded me a little bit of Spider-Man. But yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I don't really love superhero stuff, but I felt like this story was really compelling, and I really like Nnedi and his best friend. I was really compelled by the vengeance story because he wasn't only trying to like avenge his dad's death, but he was also trying to kind of complete his dad's mission. His dad's mission when he became the chief of police was to stop all of the crime that was going on, like the major crime bosses in their community that were doing the most harm. He was like determined to stop them, and that's why Nnedi believes that he was killed, was because he was one of the first chief of police to really stick his nose where I guess the crime people felt like it didn't belong. So I actually really liked the aspect that Nnedi was trying to finish what his dad started. Also, I listened to this on audiobook, so if you are even remotely interested in this, the narrator is amazing. I loved his narration style so much. So what did I learn? I learned that I love middle grade, actually, and that you can find so many middle grades that like fit your tastes, even if you primarily read like adult or young adult. Because like I said before, I felt like the theme within all 3 of these books that I chose, which was completely by coincidence, is that they felt older, and they felt like they dealt with more mature and tough topics than I think I imagine when I think of middle grade, which is me being judgmental. That's what that is. I just think it was really interesting that the 3 that I chose actually dealt with pretty heavy topics that I myself have dealt with a few of these things, and I connected to these stories really well because of that. So that's why I feel like these specific books, you know, I connected to each book in a different way for different reasons. But let's recap what I read. So I read Root Magic, and I gave this 5 stars. I definitely think that if you like historical fiction and you like some magical elements to it. I would highly recommend this book. And then I read King and the Dragonflies. I gave this 5 stars. I think that this is for everybody. I don't think you need to like anything to like this book because it deals with grief and loss, and with coming out, it deals with familial bonds and how we navigate those. It deals with intersectionality, race. It has it all, and I think it should be in the hands of everybody. And then I read Ikenga and I gave this 4 stars. I think hands down, if you love like the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, if you just like those kind of vengeance, superhero type stories, then this will definitely be for you because it was really fun and fast paced. So yeah, I read middle grade and I love it, and I'll probably do this again sometime. So if you have any middle grade suggestions that you think that I would like, please leave them down below because I'd like to make a list of some new middle grade titles to read. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.